Good afternoon. May I have your attention, please? We would like to invite all participants of the conference to enter the room and please take your seat. We would like to inform that this room is prepared for a non-smoking area, and we would kindly advise all distinguished guests and participants in this conference to switch the mobile phone into silent mode or vibrate mode to avoid any interruptions during the conference. Thank you. Om Swastiastu. His Excellency Dean of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, in this occasion is represented by Vice Dean of Academic Affairs and Planning of the Faculty of Law, Udayana University, the Honorable Head of Bachelor of Law Study Program of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, Head of Master of Law Study Program of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, Head of Master of Notary Study Program of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, Head of Doctoral of Law Study Program of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, Head of Research and Community Services Unit of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, all speakers and moderators, ladies and gentlemen. Praise and gratitude to God Almighty, because of His blessings and grace, we can all gather on today, Friday, August 26, 2022, at Prama Sanur Beach Hotel, Bali, for the opening ceremony of the Conference on Socio-Legal and Humanity Research. This conference is organized by the Research Community Services Unit of Faculty of Law, Udayana University. Before we enter into our main agenda for today, we would like to invite all audiences to sing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Therefore, for audiences to please stand up. Thank you. To all the audiences, to please remain stand up as we are going to continue our agenda with prayer. We would like to invite all audiences to pray according to your respective beliefs. Prayer is started. Prayer is finished. The audiences, you may take your seat. Conference, Bapak Nyoman Satyayuda Danjaya SH MKN PhD, to deliver his welcome remarks. Therefore, Pak Yuda to please come to the stage. The time and place are yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Allow me to release my mask first. I begin my speech by reiterating to welcoming you to the Conference on Socio-Legal and Humanities Research. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Law of Udayana University, represented by Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Desa Putu Dewi Kasih SIM. The Honorable invited speakers, Mr. Gautam Kumar Jha, Master of Art, Master of Philosophy, Doctor of Philosophy from Jawaharlal Nehru University, India, and Professor Dr. Niketut Supasti Darmawan, SHM Hum LLM from Udayana University. Honorable Professor, Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I would like to thank to Almighty God for giving us His blessing so that we could hold this conference at Prama Sanur Beach Hotel, 3 sessions and 25 speakers in 3 parallel sessions, and they will present and provide new insight from the point of view of their expertise and also from the result of their research. With a glance through the list of presentation planned for today's conference, reveal the amazing diversity of socio-legal and also humanities studies. Ladies and gentlemen, if we talk about the socio-legal, it's referred to the all section of the social science that pay attention to the law, legal processes, and legal system. One of the important characteristics of most socio-legal studies is the nature of the studies from an interdisciplinary perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, as the chair of the committee, I realize that the success of this conference depends ultimately on the 32 amazing people who have been worked together since the very beginning in planning and organizing both technical process and supporting arrangement. It is indeed, this recognition should go to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end this speech, allow me to express my apologies if there are inconveniences and shortcomings in organizing the conference. And last, I would like to invite the Vice Dean of Academic Affairs and Planning, Ibu Dr. Desa Putu Dewi Kasih SIM Hum, to be able to deliver a speech and continue by officially open the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, please stay safe and healthy, and I sincerely thank you so much for your attendance and have a fruitful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Yuda. Excellencies, distinguished guest participants, ladies and gentlemen, as for our next agenda, now please warmly welcome the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Universitas Udayana, which in this occasion is represented by Vice Dean of Academic Affairs and Planning, to deliver her speech that will also officially open the Conference on Socio-Legal and Humanities Research. To our Vice Dean, Ibu Dr. Desa Putu Dewi Kasih SIM Hum, the time and place are yours. Thank you.
Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, namo buddhaya, dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. On behalf of the Dean of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, allow me to deliver a speech on this occasion. Your Excellencies, our guest speaker, Dr. Gautam Kumar Jha from Jawaharlal Nehru University, invited speaker, Professor Niketur Supasti Darmawan from laboratories and participants. Good afternoon. First and foremost, we are delighted and honored to express our gratitude to all speakers, presenters, moderators, participants, and committee for attending this event. I appreciate the initiative of the Research and Community Service Unit to organize the academic event. Ladies and gentlemen, term social legal research is often associated with social legal studies, an umbrella for sciences such as legal sociology, legal anthropology, legal politics, gender and law, and psychology of law. In recent years, we can observe this character. I cannot be denied that research which combines law and other social sciences and humanities is getting more and more attention. Therefore, the topic of this conference today is very interesting for law scholars. The end of the speech, I do hope that this conference offers a new and inspiring insight to our audience.
We also would like to invite Mr. Gautam Kumarja, MPhil PhD, to also please come forward. Bapak. And also would like to invite Bapak Yuda as the committee chairperson for today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to continue with the photo session. So to Ibu Dewi, Mr. Kumar and Pak Yuda to please remain at the front of the Purwani. And then also the moderator, Bapak Parikesit, to please come forward. Yeah. Okay, for the committee to please assist the photo session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you please be kind to back to your seat? So that was the opening ceremony for the conference on Socio-Legal and Humanities Research. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. So finally, we arrive at our first agenda in today's conference on Socio-Legal and Humanities Research. We will go for the plenary sessions. The speaker are Professor Dr. Niketur Supasti Darmawan, SH, MHum, LLM, our professor at the Faculty of Law, Udayana University. And we also have invited speaker here, Gautam Kumarja, MPhil PhD, lecturer of Jawaharlal Nehru University, India. We would like to inform you all that the presentations as well as the question and answer sessions for today, it will be going to facilitate by Mr. I Gusti Ngurah Parikesit Widyateja, SH, MHum, LLM, PhD as the moderator. Before Mr. Parikesit will chair this session, please allow me to introduce him that Mr. I Gusti Ngurah Parikesit Widyateja, SH, MHum, LLM, PhD is a lecturer at the International Law Department at the Faculty of Law, Udayana University. He completed his Bachelor of Law from the Faculty of Law, Brawijaya University in 2003, and earned a Master of Laws from the same university. In 2014, he completed his LLM from Global Business Law at the School of Law, the University of Washington, Seattle, USA. In 2020, he earned PhD degree from the School of Law of the University of Melbourne, Australia. So we kindly invite Mr. Widya Teja to chair this session and invite our invited speakers to join you at the parallel sessions. Time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the Vice Dean of Faculty of Law, Udayana University, all study program coordinator around Faculty of Law, Udayana University, honorable speaker, honorable participant, organizing committee. It is definitely an honor to chair this important session with the interesting topic in relation to socio-legal and humanity research. As we all know and aware, life is changing. Life is entering the era of Industry 4.0 with the Society 5.0. Law itself definitely require interdisciplinary and contextual approach that make the need for social legal methodology and research becoming more and more important. As I quote from one of the scholars from the United States, Vanderbilt, ever said that the vast and complex the modern law has become, it only stays vital in content, efficient in operation, and accurate in aim by borrowing economic, political, and philosophical science. Today, we are lucky to have two distinguished speakers from two different nationality, cultural, to explain about the social legal research. Let me introduce both of our honorable speakers today. The first one is Gautam Kumar Jha, Master of Art, Master of Philosophy, and Philosophy Doctor. He is Assistant Professor Bahasa Indonesia in the Center for Chinese and Southeast Asian Studies School of Language, Literature, and Culture Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University. From educational background, I can explain to all of you that he earned diploma from Indonesian Language and Performing Art in ASTI, ISBI Bandung. So you can imagine, I think he can proficiently speak Indonesian. So after earning the diploma, then he continued his study in Persian School of Language and Culture and Literature in Jawaharlal Nehru University. Then continue with a Master of Philosophy in Indonesian Islam, School of International Studies in the same university. And finally, he earned a PhD from the same concentration, I think, in Indonesian Islam and School of International Studies, GNU. So, I'd like to invite Gautam Kumar Jha, PhD. Would you like to come forward? And please give applause to Bapak Gautam Kumar. Today, he will deliver material about Indian and the evolution of legal framework. So we will learn about how the legal development start from ancient, from medieval, and also from modern history. And also from Indonesian audience, what can be learned from Indian experience to be applied maybe in Indonesia. Good afternoon. The second speaker, I think almost all participants know well her because she is one of the most inspiring professor in our faculty, Ibu Profesor Dr. Niketut Supasti Darmawan, SHM Hum LLM. I can briefly explain the curriculum vitae from her. She is a professor at the Faculty of Law Udayana University. She is also editor-in-chief of the Udayana Law Master Journal. And from educational background, she earned a Bachelor of Law from Faculty of Law Udayana University, continue with a Magister Humaniora in Faculty of Law Diponegoro University in Central Java. She also earned her Law Legis Master, LLM, from Faculty of Law Maastricht University. And finally, she earned her doctoral study from
Chief the coordinator and Satyayudha Dhananjaya, chief editor of the journal where I was reviewer now, I am the editorial board, Professor Dr. Niketut Supasti Dharmawan, SHM Hum, LLM, and Mr. Padikashit, SHM Hum, LLM, and most beloved students of Udayana University and all August conference today, and I was asked to give little bit about the legal framework of Indian government, how do we proceed. So I asked Dr. Budi that please tell me the kinds of audience I will be facing today. So it told me the mixed students, undergrad, grad, and also with our colleagues, teachers here. So I thought if I just speak on the purely on law or executive background of India, it would be a little boring because many people are not aware about the, okay, thank you, about the Indian legal system which has been inherited from the British legal system and how we adopted British legal system, as maybe through different journals and I think India is basically a spiritual resource for fully Balinese and then on the larger side, Indonesia, old home. When you particularly visit to site of Rishikesh, Haridwar, Ganga, Yamuna, and monumental Varanasi, and also village side of India, where villagers, particularly Hindu community, spend at least 25% of their days, sustainability, been evolved from Bharat. Once it was Bharat, how Bharat became India. Can you change the slide, please? Next slide. Yes, history and geography of ancient, and a little bit talking about. I have, for the students, I have placed map. You can see map. Map is a little bit, elongated. It is not actual map, but you can see where Indonesia is placed. It's very close to means Nur, that Buddhism came, and with Hindu Buddhism, we almost covered entire Southeast Asia. Now, when we go to and the left side, you see Indian movies. So, how Bollywood is almost a king in the filmmaking industry across the world, because the ancient culture and tradition. You see the women wearing saris. If you see the statue of 5th century, 4th century, the actual women will just wear the same ornaments, not this much clothes, but less clothes, but same ornaments all statues would wear. So means we are reflecting our culture and tradition very strongly in Indian movies. Can you go ahead to the next slide? Yes, since we have good time, 30 minutes, so can we go to the next slide? And this and dockyard famous because still that dockyard is still in near Ahmedabad, and from that area we still have a big harbor today, and we fly across the globe. Now, why India? Bharata is so wide. Because you see there were three important rivers: Irrawaddy, Salween, and what is called Mekong. These three rivers come from Himalaya. And Himalaya, him means ice, and Alaya is the house. Himalaya is basically house of ice, from where we get the water. And water is brought by three rivers in Southeast Asia: Irrawaddy and Salween and Mekong. If you see Asia Tenggara, half of the region of Asia Tenggara gets the water from Himalaya. And this not only you get just water from Himalaya, you also get culture and traditions emanating from Himalayan side. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, ancient Indian route, in ancient Indian trade route, I have to just go to that place and just show you a little bit understand. Hello. Yes. You see, because since there are a lot of students, it will help you to understand. See the route, trade route. This is Indian trade route, and here all sea. India is a monolith country, mainly monolith country, where we have small islands here. But this is huge land. As Dr. Budi was saying today, India is very big country. Now, if you start from this side, travel by train, even at the speed of 80 or 90 kilometers, it will take 2 to 3 days to reach here. Continuous, 3 days, 4 days inside the train. So it's a very big country, and the trade route was like this. And you could see across, there's so many harbors here, and we ply towards Indonesia. And Bali is just stand here, right? Small here. So for Indian ship, it was very easier to ply through Malacca Strait here. This is Malacca Strait between Sumatra and Malaysia, Malacca Strait, and that mingles with Sunda Strait between Sumatra and Java. So that strait brought all the kapal out from here and through fly from here and here toward Borneo and going towards southern China. Right? So, and the best thing was, monsoon. Eastern monsoon, western monsoon became the natural means for the trade, international trade. So, when there is eastern monsoon, right? So, tradesmen go from here towards India. And when there is western monsoon, so people are, ready there and they fly towards Southeast Asia. Eastern monsoon and western monsoon. So both worked like natural carrier for our goods. There were two main trade routes, land routes and sea routes. Land route was very easier for Indians to come towards Indochina, likely with mules and other means of work, and though go inside towards and do some, because this Malacca Strait between Sumatra and Malaysia is not very far, 1 and 2 kilometers wide. So very easy to come inside and do trading. So we were pioneer in doing trades, and that's why today you see a lot of influence of Indic culture on Southeast Asia. So that is the reason. Can we go to the next slide, please? You see all the scripts of Southeast Asia. Entire script, including Balinese, Javanese, Sumatran, a lot of script. Maybe you do not know, because since Bahasa Indonesia came into picture, other scripts and language became recessive. Bahasa Indonesia became dominant, unlike India. So this is the process that your entire language of Southeast Asia is directly influenced by Indian Pallava script or Brahmi script, Pallava king, right? So if you see Burmese, Thai script, Balinese script, even some scripts in Philippines, they are all very, even Tamil scripts in India, all are very similar scripts, right? I mean, it was during the Chola and Gupta period. Can we go to the next slide, please? And these were the old names of, Sri Vijaya, Sailendra, Mataram, Chandra, Angkor Majapahit. There was, okay, pointer. Thank you. Oh, color. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, Papudi. So, these were Sri Vijaya came into existence 7th century. Sri Vijaya almost ruled entire Southeast Asia. It had direct link with India, and Sailendra in Java, Mataram, Chenla in again near 7th century near Indochina, Angkor Wat, also Cambodia 9th century, and Majapahit 14th century. Means our existence, current existence, is full of Indic culture and traditions. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. So, the name of Myanmar was Annapura, and Central Vietnam was known as Annam, Middle Vietnam known as Champa, Ayutthaya was Kingdom of Siam, still Ayutthaya is there, and Laos and most of the present day of Myanmar was part of Indic community. Chola period, Chola Empire had relatives like brother-in-law, father-in-law in Champa, and that is in present Vietnam. And one of the Chola empires, in the last empire, they call it Raja Raj Chola. I think it was Raja Raj Chola who died without any hair. And then he had already retained, so he got his hair from Champa, that is central Vietnam. His relatives were there, and the youngest son of that particular king came to India and became Indian king in Chola Empire. So we were like one family across India and Southeast. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, next slide. So these are the remnants of heritage, Warisan from in India. You also have Borobudur also Prambanan temple, and so many temples across Indonesia and Southeast Asia. This is Shiva, who is on Nandi. It is in part of Angkor Wat temple. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is Angkor Wat temple. Next slide. Again, Angkor Wat Nataraja, Angkor Wat, Cambodia. Next. Yeah, Mughal era. Why Mughal era? Makes the present. If you go to India, particularly New Delhi, you will find a lot of heritage of Mughal Empire, like Qutub Minar. You have Jama Masjid. You have Taj Mahal also, and so many Mughal heritage. And why Mughal? I'm answering those questions of by the students who generally ask me from Indonesia. Why there is a lot of impression of Mughal Empire in India, because India is still dominant by Hindus, like almost 75 to 80% are still Hindus, 78%, something like that. So we have long era of Mughal Empire, but still, Islam in the beginning, always has been a forceful religion, the Abrahamic religion, because the religion is directly related with the conversion. That is because it's part of their religious aspects, you can say that. So when Islam came, Persian came, because empire from Persian empires, other from Middle East came to India. So Persian became an official language of India for a long period of time, and in majority of India, the legal aspects, the legal literature is still written in Persian words, which still many Indians do not understand, particularly in the revenues area, land and property area. Most of the aspects is written in Persian words, not in the language, but Persian words, right? So Persian became the national language in India for almost 300 years. And now, what Mughal Empire did is, because they wanted to spread Islam, it was very difficult to spread Islam, so they tried to break the knowledge traditions of India. See, you must have heard about Nalanda University, the first university of the world in India, where Nalanda University has students from Indonesia, Sumatra, across Southeast Asia. And Khilji was one of the emperor or whatever, from Mughal Empire. He tried to burn the library because majority of the Buddhist texts, Hindu and Buddhist texts, were lying in Nalanda University, and he burnt entire university, and all the books were burnt. So it means that he was thinking that it is the knowledge traditions of India which is preventing Islam to spread across the India, across the Hindus. And then there was forceful conversion during the last Mughal emperor called Aurangzeb, and it was very mayhem. Millions of Hindus were forced and killed, and a jizya tax. Jizya tax was imposed during the Mughal era, particularly during the Aurangzeb. Those people who are non-Muslim, those who were non-Muslims, they had to pay special tax to the Mughal emperor because they were not Muslims. So and thus social divide emerged in India, and that social divide still you find in India. That is the present government of system. The social divide is very important. Can you go to the next slide, please? Now, British India, before we start to talking about British India, Mughal India is very important to understand the personal law of India, personal law and personal Islamic jurisprudence. When Islam evolved, there was no Islamic jurisprudence as such across the globe. There was no Islamic jurisprudence in the beginning. How Islamic jurisprudence evolved is, wherever Islam went, there was fatwas given by the Islamic preachers or Islamic scholars, ulama. And there was records of fatwas. So Aurangzeb, what they did is, because Islam, to control Islam, to have a consolidated status of Islam, it was very difficult for the Mughal emperors to control and to have Islamic society. Because those Muslims, those Hindus who were newly converted, they were still practicing Hindu traditions, and it was very difficult for them to segregate Muslims, because Islam, whenever Islam comes in any society, there is a tendency of ulamas to segregate the ummah. Maybe with symbols, still we have Tablighi Jamaat, they come out with symbols, Muslim women should wear hijab and this, because there is a tendency to segregate them from the main society. So Aurangzeb thought it would be very difficult, because that time the jurisprudence of India mostly was basically upon the Indian Nya system or Indian law system, but that was very natural, which evolved through the thousands of years. And when British came, they established British Code of Conduct, British law, and they started dealing all the jurisprudence materials through British jurisprudence. So before that, Aurangzeb, what he did is, to have Islamic jurisprudence in India, he called 100 scholars across the Islamic world. Mostly it was from Middle East, Arabs, all ulamas he brought in India, and started writing Islamic jurisprudence. Now you see, India as a society, you have already seen how an ancient Indian system, knowledge traditions, even in 6th century, we wrote Kama Sutra. And Kama Sutra is famous across the globe, and some of the Western people, term it Kama Sutra as a pornography. It is not, because the sexual aspects of Kama Sutra is only like 20 to 30%. Rest is the knowledge, traditions, that background of the contemporary society. We had a very severe punishment for anything connected with the gender sensitivity. Where men and women were very, very almost equal. They have equal, and also majority part of the India has matrilineal society, what you practice in Bali and other Southeast Asian countries.
I'm sorry for interrupt.
Time
you
is
still
passed.
have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh,
Thank you
should have
for your
told me 10 minutes
understanding.
before. Can we go to the next slide? Can we go first before this? I'll go quickly. Yeah. So Aurangzeb made Islamic jurisprudence with fatwas of different countries. He compiled fatwas of different countries, and it became the Islamic jurisprudence of India. And from where so many countries where Islam is in majority, they took Islamic laws from India. And that is almost 100 book. It is 100 scholars in so many 5 or 6 volumes. Books still available in Urdu, and I think Urdu and Arabic, it is available right now in India. So if anyone wants to work on Islamic jurisprudence, I think that work would be very important for you. And thus, Islamic law, or is called personal law, came into existence in India. Can we go to the next? Okay, this is the government of India. So India got independence from British 1947, and Nehru became also the first prime minister. But before India comes into existence, since Islam became a segregated religion, it was not able to associate with Hindus. So one of the leaders called Jinnah, came out and said, Islam is in danger, and let us have another country. So India got divided. India and Pakistan. There was East Pakistan and West Pakistan. Now when India got divided, the East Pakistan now, which is in Bangladesh, they did not want to mingle with Pakistan because they have their other language and culture. So this is the first instance in the world where a land got divided on the basis of religion. So, government of India is based upon executive. It is headed by a president, legislature, which is parliament or lower house, and upper house called Rajya Sabha, and judiciary or Supreme Court. And under Supreme Court, we have 21 high courts. There is Mahakama Agung, and then you have 21 high courts and many civil, criminal, and family courts across the district level. The Indian population 1.3 billion is really very high. Our judiciary system is still, very effective, but it takes long time, even for a smaller case, because now a lot of technologies are coming to tackle those situations, which I'll talk later. Can we go to the next slide, please? Government structure. The Indian politics works within the framework of the country's constitution, and that was evolved, and our constitution is mostly based upon the British constitution, and though a lot of internal elements have been incorporated. India is a parliamentary democratic republic where the president of India is the head of the state and prime minister of India is the head of the government. So one has to understand head of the state and head of the government. So definitely prime minister is far more powerful than the president. And it is based upon, can we go to the next slide? So that if I see something more important, I can deliberate in. Next slide, please. Yeah. Can we go next slide? Structuring. Next slide, India's. Yeah, next slide that we already know. Best achievements of India. India has got green revolutions. Now, India is completely self-sustained. It is no more a hunger-stricken country. And India is white revolution. India, white revolution means as I told you today this morning, that I myself consume 2 liters, my family 2 liters of milk every day. So across all Indians' family consume milk on a very high rate. So we are the largest producer of milk and also largest consumers of the milk, and that is called white revolutions. And then nuclear program. We also developed nuclear energy, nuclear bomb, because we have direct threat from Pakistan, and biggest threat is China. And then life expectancy rate grew very high. It was very low in 1920s. Now it is very high. And then ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization. It is also, at one time, during a few years back, we launched Chandrayaan, and also one rocket launched 100 satellites, including 2 satellites from Indonesia also. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, there are so many achievements that India has gone through. So, like, we have already major, almost 1,400 IT companies of the world is from India. We have, CEOs of Google and Microsoft is there from India. We have achieved quite a lot in terms of knowledge, and that is happening because India has been a global guru in the past, and same knowledge traditions we are continuing till date. So the law background in India is still, you see, a lot of laws is done by our gods. Gods means social security. Social security means you have in your mind, if you do bad karma, you will get bad result. So that still works even in the village. Maybe in my village, there are around 25 villages, then is one small police station. So, less police stations means less judicial process. So most of the small conflicts are, settled out in the family or near family, or near we call panchayat. In one village we have panchayat, who basically takes care of the small conflicts between families, between people. If there is major conflict, they go to the district level, and then state level, and then come to the central level. So Indian government is based upon two, federal state and central state. So central government has certain jurisdiction over the federal states, and similarly we work all together. It is very interesting. I hope if your PhD students work on Indian jurisprudence, particularly customary law or personal law, they are very, very interesting. Maybe I'll be able to help them. And I will also encourage my students to do research on Indonesian law structures and understand Indonesian laws. Particularly, I love when see the TV Lawyers Club, when they discuss about certain particular aspects. Mostly it is currently the main topic is corruption in the government sector. So that is really great. I would, if you have more questions, then I'll be love to answer in the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gautam, for the great presentation. You are such a great storyteller too. I was really enjoying your presentation, and I learned so much from your presentation. I just remember talking about the history is always important. Just remember the last speech of Sukarno in 17 August 1966. Maybe all of you still remember jas merah. Jangan sekali-sekali melupakan sejarah, or never forget about the history. So, connecting with the issue of socio-legal and humanitarian research, to know about why the current problem is happening, maybe one of the reasons because we sometimes forgot to run, to connect, to link, to analyze the historical perspective from legal issues. Moving along the next presenter, we also have another interesting topic from Ibu Prof. Supasti. She will deliver material about one of her expertise in intellectual property right. And today, she is going to present about researching intellectual property laws through socio-legal approach. So, for Professor Supasti, time and place are yours.
Om Swastiastu. Good afternoon, Vice Dean, Chair of Committee, and then also Moderator, and also our Honorable, the invited speaker. It's a great honor for me to present together with you a great scholar from India. So this is really a chance for me to learn more about your expertise. Our college, our researcher, we just finishing touring, went to India and also went to Southeast Asia with the Professor Gautam. Now I would like to ask you to join with me just around Bali and Indonesia. Yeah. We will deliver material related to how we conduct research in intellectual property law and mix with the socio-legal method. Okay. First, my research topic is researching intellectual property laws through socio-legal approach. Okay, next. We only have 2 agendas to share. I think this is more about just repress about our knowledge, our understanding about how to do research. First of all, I would like to share with you the importance of understanding legal method for relevant legal issue. And then the second one, I would like to share about my experience, our experience, during we conducted research. We call it lesson learned from researching law in the field of intellectual property law in protecting both individual and also communal work through socio-legal. And then conclusion, that's all. Okay, the first one, we would like to share about the important understanding legal method. Pak, dibantu. Okay. Okay. Why this is important to understanding about legal method? First, because of the background. In today's life, I also follow your style. Okay. In today's life, people said this is globalization, this is digitalization, this is the era of 4.0. Everything go beyond internet, faster and faster, more and more connected with other people. Okay, for example, something like that. Yeah, thank you very much. Some of our colleagues maybe now, even they sit here, but she still getting or transforming or delivering message to other people. So we can deny this situation. So this is also bring up to open our mind to see whether people said that in traditional way we doing research is still exists right now, or we also should develop harmonizing with the era itself. That's one thing that I concerned about the methodology. And then if we just take the example researching intellectual property work, such as patent, such as trademark, industrial design, trade secret, copyright, and other IP regime, this is considered in today's life one of the factor carry out the economic and business development, including in business activity in tourism area. We are in Bali, we are in Indonesia, so we have many business activity in tourism. So IP work that also contribute in the tourism sector need to be developed, not need to be protected, both preventive measure and also measure and also repressive method. And then the other thing, intellectual property law is also considered as one of the most important factor, also as example of delivering for the relevant legal issue. Yeah, this is just like sharing when I talk about methodology in the class, because sometimes we use normative legal method, or when we use empirical legal method, and we are also socio-legal, something like that. Okay, depend on the issue that we studied. Silakan Pak. Okay, okay. Understanding an adequate legal research method in researching the law cannot be separated from the context of understanding the scientific character of legal science itself. So we should understand about what is legal science. So from the various literature, we can see that law science has its own character, which is referred to as a sui generis science. Maybe all of us here understand about sui generis, but what is characterized about the sui generis? The sui generis science is the main factor that cause legal science categorized as sui generis in the nature of pragmatic truth value, which is intersubjective because of required consensus from the legal scholar. That's sometimes people said this is a traditional approach for the legal method. The truth of the science of law is often referred to as a truth consensus. Jadi kebenaran konsensus that we understood as in bahasa. Jadi ilmu hukum adalah ilmu yang sui generis karena kebenarannya adalah kebenaran konsensus, something like that. And then another thing, as a sui generis, it also characterized of sui generis is about the logic factor, faktor logika hukumnya. And then the other thing is about norm. So we should start from the legal research. Generally, all us here now just we repress our mind come up in that time. And then also, ya terusin Pak, all of them invensi, hibah invensi. So hibah invensi, ya one of the maybe considered as prestigious ya, prestigious grant from our LPPM. Lagi Pak lanjut. And then until in 2022, yeah, and all about hibah invensi. So from that research we conducted, we not only focus about the legal norm. The legal norm, maybe this is our daily life, but after that we see just an example in the photo. Why the people should use wearing yellow color? What the meaning? So we should try to observe to find out not only the contextual, but also not only the textual, but also the contextual of people behave, something like that. And then we also open mind to other related science. We call it indisciplinary. And of course, it is not easy. We find obstacle. But we try to change the obstacle become challenge. And then finally bringing advantages for us. What is the advantages? So because I would like to stop my presentation, the advantages is during we conducted research, we have several book that we can create. First, this is a metodologi penelitian hukum dan penulisan disertasi. This is one of the result of our research. And then hukum kepariwisataan, kekayaan dan intelektual for UMKM, and then hak kekayaan intelektual, harmonisasi hukum global, and then this is identifikasi hasil karya ketenun Bali dalam dimensi perlindungan HKI. So my research is linear related to intellectual property, and then sate lilit dari Bali. Not only we mention about what from Japan, something like sushi or that, sate lilit from Bali, sate lilit from Bali, sate lilit from Bali, until people understand that sate lilit originally from Bali. We should campaign something like that. This is one of our traditional knowledge, something like that. This to understand, like Arjuna from India, for example, Mahabharata or something like that. And then we also write about hukum karya cipta dongeng and payas Bali, because some of payas Bali also become new promising economic for our society when people doing kursus itu course in Payas Bali, and then after that they can open their salon, and then when in the good dewasa baik they so many people need to merias in Bali, and then 10 juta, 20 juta become of our earn. So this is the combination between intellectual property right law, traditional knowledge, traditional cultural expression, with the out about legal method and thinking about a legal concept. So we should do something like that. This is our advantages of using legal, socio-legal as in our, and then also, what is mentioned here? Video. Video also one of the way to get more money, more economic value when we share our video in the YouTube. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Supasti. She's never changed since I met her for the first time in 2010. She always talk about intellectual property right. She always applied socio-legal, and she always standing up while presenting something. Okay, we are moving to the next schedule. That is a question and answer session. So because we will have time until 3:15, so for the first opportunity, I'd like to invite two participants
upon their, bureaucratic process. How bureaucracy understand the corrupt practices, and when they are scared, when there is transparency in everything. You see, Indonesia starting from Suharto period, 32 years of rule of Suharto. It was a completely, entire thing was corrupted. Government process was corrupted. Suharto was everything. Once transition comes to the pure democratic setup. Now, the heritage what Indonesia has got is the same during Suharto period. Now, if Indonesians want the society or the government should be free of corruption immediately, tidak bisa. Cepat-cepat tidak bisa. Untuk itu, pertama-tama itu pentingnya pendidikan tinggi. Pendidikan tinggi, pemerintah harus menginvestasi banyak di bidang pendidikan tinggi. Ya. Dan yang kedua, civil society. Saya pikir hanya sudah berapa tahun, 12 tahun, 10 tahun SBY dan hampir 10 tahun, 9 tahun ini, 8 tahun Jokowi ya. 18 tahun masih Indonesia demokrasinya masih anak ya, belum dewasa. Dewasa maksud saya harus ada civil society yang strong. Kalau ada seorang bicara terhadap korupsi, dia harus didukung oleh media, oleh orang lain. Nah, media adalah salah satu pilar ya. Salah satu pilar atau salah satu tiang pemerintah democratic process. Nah, bagaimana media main perannya sendiri? If media is corrupt, then everything is corrupt. Now, you see how much media houses is owned by politicians and businessmen. Now, what is the relation between businessmen and politicians? The media do not understand this. Media has to understand this. Kalau RCTI or TNI or whatever radio is there relationship directly with the politicians or not? So in India, there are televisions which is 100%, at least 70 to 80% very honest. Kalau ada apa-apa besok, mereka they just start bulleting. And next day, the government has to drop. So civil society is, media is the part of the civil society. Yeah, kalau ada, if there is a research, big professors, vice chancellor, or any rector, if they give any statement tomorrow, people will come to our scene against any government. So pemerintah harus hati-hati. Dan kita punya CBI. Central Investigation Bureau, IB, and Enforcement Direct. They are very vigilant. Kalau ada satu kantor ya, Saya lihat ada tipe korupsi ada antara perbedaan korupsi di Indonesia dan India. India, corruption is like this. If ada kepala kantor, dia makan uang, dia tidak beritahu orang lain. Ya, tapi kalau satu orang sudah tahu tentang korupsi ini, dia memberikan kabar, ada hotline kepada CBI or anything. CBI immediately understands this. Dan identitasnya sudah di hiding ya, tidak boleh keluar. Now in Indonesia, kalau kepala kantor makan uang, dia juga membagikan dengan orang-orang lain. Supaya rahasia harus dirahasiakan. That is the difference. So Indonesian corruption is more organized corruption. Indian corruption is not organized. And that's why in India there is more chance they get caught. Immediately you have seen we have crores, millions of rupees recovered from one person, and then media is every day, every night. Now in Indonesia, what media is focusing on the murder right now, murder of one armed brigadier and the entire. So what I feel that it will take a long time, maybe another 2 decades, when civil society of Indonesia is stronger and they basically rule the government. Now, one question is very important. Masih punya waktu Pak? 2 menit? Ya. Prabowo wakili partai yang lain dengan Jokowi ya, ketika ada election proses pemilihan. Now, after the government found, because Prabowo ya main peran sebagai oposisi sebelum pemerintah jadi diformasikan. Nah, setelah sudah pemerintah already came into the force by Jokowi, led by Jokowi, Prabowo becomes the defense minister. It will never happen to any part of this world, also never in India, because you fight with a certain ideology for the government, right? This maybe Prabowo has maybe in so many talks has talked against the Jokowi, against Jokowi's team, against the corruption, this and that. But how come on the same people join the same government? So I think, and also one of the most important factors that we should not forget, that electioneering process is now using digitalized world. Indonesia masih hitung suara dengan kertas. Now the high Indonesian electioneering process that they should transform into digital world, and because we experienced around 300 to 400 people died in just counting the suaras. So these are very important aspects that people have to understand in Indonesia. And also the human rights. Ada mahasiswa yang belajar tentang human rights or laws against human rights di Udayana? Ada ya? So this is very important that somebody has to actually point out the human rights violations in each and every part of the government society. Because these are the ways, these are the yardstick that we strengthen our social system and government. India is also having a lot of problems on human rights. But compared to India and Indonesia, our civil society is very, very stronger. That's it. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Pak Gautam. Please give applause. And we will move to Ibu Prof. Supasti.
Thank you, Pak Parikesit. Thank you, Putra, for the question. Putra asking about the tip, to do legal research and then the method appropriate. In my point of view, first, when a student or researcher would like to do legal research, but just imagine that legal research is easy. And then make us happy. Another one. And then the third one is something like your singing your favorite song, or imagining that you will meet to the your idol or your public figure or your role model. So make us happy and encourage to do the best one. Don't think oppositely that legal research is quite difficult, like you mentioned. When the first time we said that is in negatively, yes, the legal research become difficult and become crucial and boring or something like that. That's my tip for the first one. And then the second one, do the object of the research that's really you're interested in. And really, that's in your major. Don't grabbing any other type of subject area that actually we don't have capacity about that. So this will become difficult. And then the third one, just an example, when you interested in researching IP law, for example, intellectual property law, and then make it narrower. Which one we would like to choose? For example, okay, I would like to research traditional culture expression. What is traditional culture expression? This is part of the communal intellectual property, and then after that, you should manage yourself. What exactly the legal object, the object of legal research? As I mentioned before, the object of legal research is the legal norm itself. And then after that, you find out the legal norm or the legal instrument regulate about the traditional culture expression. First, maybe you come from, sometimes can come from the international fora, and then national fora, and then also local. In international, whether there are specific convention regulate about that, or maybe related convention can help us to understand about the law. Or the same way also when we searching about the legal norm in national fora. Okay, in national fora first, because this is part of copyright, we first should read copyright law. And then after that, in fact, not only copyright law, this is also have a relationship with the Undang-Undang Pemajuan Kebudayaan, the instrument of culture, something like that. And then we also read, just to see whether inside the law we find everything is clear, or whether we find the problem of norm, whether there are a fake a norm, conflict norm, or empty norm. So if something like that you find out, then the legal research appropriate for your research is normative legal research. In another side, if everything the law is clear, but this is still problem, maybe we should think about the law enforcement, lack of law enforcement. Okay, if we find out something like that, then the legal method appropriate for them is empirical legal method. After that, in the new era, something like I mentioned before, it's not sufficient only we use the legal method, the normative legal method, but also this is really complicated subject area inside the form of the copyright, for example, the form of traditional culture expression. There are also culture, there are also technology era, there are also some belief or this, there are also tradition, there are also some things philosophical, something like that. Okay, we try to see socio-legal research or mixed method. So we don't post ourselves, because Bu Supasti mentioned about socio-legal, in the future I will socio-legal method. No, depend on your object of the legal research, depend on your subject area. If we using the appropriate legal method, will bring more successful when you conducted legal research. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ibu Prof. Supasti. So we are turned to the final and ending this session, and both speakers have informed us so important, so crucial, enlighten us with the new information and the new insight. Now we are understand that the law cannot stand alone. The law is not just textual, it's not just normative, it's not just monodiscipline. In this current trend, the law requires multidisciplinary, contextual, and with a cognitive approach. I think that's all my role as a moderator today, and hope all of you have fruitful information today. Now time, and please give back to Master of Ceremony. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, our moderator for today, Mr. Widya Teja. So, Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, would you please to give big applause once again for our moderator and also our outstanding speakers that we have, Professor Supasti and Dr. Gautam. And now we kindly invite you, the three of you, to for the delivering of the certificate. So we kindly invite the Vice Dean for the Academic Affair and Planning to deliver the certificate, accompanied by the head of the committee, the chairperson of the committee. Would you please to go downstairs? And for Professor Supasti and our moderator, we also will get the certificate that will also delivered by our Vice Dean. That's a certificate for Professor Supasti and also Mr. Widya Teja. Thank you very much. We also kindly invite for the Vice Dean for Human Resources and Financial Affairs, and also the Vice Dean for the Students Affairs at the Faculty of Law, and also the head of the Research and Community Service Unit to join together and take the photo session together. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that was the plenary sessions for our conference today. We will continue with our parallel sessions, and we already provide you coffee break that you can take beside this room. Bapak Ibu sekalian, kami okay, yeah. So, like the request from the chairperson of the committee, we would like to take a photo session together once again. So, Pak Gus Mardi, boleh tolong difoto dari atas. Oke, would you please mohon berdiri supaya seluruh peserta bisa terlihat. Bu Prof mungkin bisa di depan, Bu Wade juga mendampingi. Prof.